And we're live. Yeah. It's been a while since I've streamed, so welcome. And just make sure that everything is good. Cool. Connection looks excellent. The change to 5G has really been a game changer on the stream quality, because before it used to have these hiccups, but now it's very consistent. Okay, so today we're gonna brew with a new bag of coffee. It's these guys over here. Fahem by Tim Wendelboe. And if you didn't know, I was actually born and raised in Norway, which is where Tim Wendelboe is located, the roastery. And yeah, that's just a mini tidbit from me, but I've gone back every now and then. And the last time I went back, I went to their roastery and had coffee over there, and it was delicious. It was amazing. And there's something about Scandinavian coffee that is amazing, because they really focus on light roast coffees that are extremely floral and delicate, and this will hopefully be one of them. I've tried a lot of different Tim Wendelboe beans in the past, but I've actually not tasted this one before, this origin and this varietal. This is the varietal right over here. It's called 74110. But yeah, hopefully it's gonna be good. Let's open it up and see how the beans look. Snip that open. I'll lower this a bit so you can see the beans. Looks like a pretty light roast. Okay, a lot of very small beans too. A lot of the times the sizing is interesting, but I can tell that there's a lot of small beans here. Nice. Smells kind of like hay, like grass hay. Hopefully that doesn't go and get into the taste of the coffee. But overall, looks very promising. Okay. So what I'll be doing is I'll also be doing a salami pull, meaning I'll be testing out brewing ratios 1:14 all the way to 1:18, since this is my first cup. And let's measure things out. So I'm gonna start off with 15 grams of coffee. Keep it nice and small. I don't want too much coffee lately because I've been drinking a lot of cold brew and other coffee drinks here and there. So my morning coffee routine is a bit smaller than normal. Got 15 grams of coffee. I'm also gonna purge my grinder. Take a handful of beans. And this is something cool that I made not too long ago. It's a stir stick. I used a knife and I whittled it. Just wanted to show you guys that. It's pretty rad. had a blast at a portage trip, which is kind of like a camping trip, and I made this. It's actually a bit too like chunky to fit in here, so I still gotta use my old stick. There we go. Okay, nice and purged. And let's grind these beans. So this is how the beans look like. So I'm grinding it at a 33 setting, but I'll show you what the grind consistency looks like in a moment. Okay. So we got this tool right over here. I'll take some grinds into my hand. And what I like to do is I just kind of like press it against this to see where the beans come through. It's easier on a sheet of paper, but this totally works too. So I would say the grind size is between 800 to 1000 microns, which is my 33 setting. And we'll be brewing with the Kalita Wave this time around. Exciting stuff. Let's begin. So take a filter, pop that in there, get our cup, paste that on there, and let's figure out what our slivers will be. So we are doing we're gonna test out brewing ratios 1 to 14, 1 to 15, 1 to 16, 1 to 17, and 1 to 18. And what we're going to do is we're going to, since we're using 15 grams of coffee, the first increment that we need to hit is, here, let me just get the calculator, quick time. 15 times 14 is 210. 210. And then after that we just plus 15, plus 15, plus 15, plus 15, like so. 15 times 18. Cool. Here we go. This is what we're gonna aim for. So we're going to taste brewing ratios 1 to 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. We're using 15 grams of coffee, so the first mark that we'll be hitting is 210 grams of water, and then we'll be adding 15 grams of water every increment and removing those slivers in these small cups, and then we'll be tasting. So let's begin. First of all, preheat. I got my boiling water here, and I'll be using the hottest water, as in boiling. water. Toss on the grinds. I like using the AeroPress funnel because sometimes you get the grinds all the way around into the filter area if you don't pour properly, like so. 15 grams. Tare. And make a small hole. And we'll start the pour. Start the timer, and I'm pouring 50 grams first. Like so. And then I'm giving it a nice and good stir. Make sure all the beans are saturated. I don't want to press down on the filter because it might create a seal. The Kalita Wave is kind of fickle when it comes to its flow rate, so you got to be kind of careful. Now, continue the pour all the way to 210 grams of water. I like just doing a continuous pour, but a really slow one. Like so, that's 210 grams. I'm gonna give it a quick swirl, bring down the grinds a bit, and then I'm gonna let this fully drain out, and then I'm gonna move it over to one of these cups and pour 15 grams more water. Good. I don't see any crazy like clogging or anything. The flow rate looks decent. It's about to hit 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And now I'll move it over. It's fully drained. Now I'll just move it over to one of these smaller cups. I tare and I add 15 grams of water. And this will be the 1 to 15 sliver. This is the 1 to 16 sliver. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm always down to record questions. Doesn't seem like there's a pop in chat this time around, but that's totally cool. Like so. This is the 1 to 17 sliver. Like so. And then we have the final 1 to 18 sliver. Okay, so we have, this is a 1 to 14 brewing ratio cup, so it's 15 grams of coffee with 210 grams of water. This over here, if I add that in there, it'll become a 1 to 15 ratio cup. If I add this and that, 1 to 16. If I add all of these three, 1 to 17. And if I add this one also with those three, it'll become a 1 to 18 ratio cup of coffee. Like so. Perfect. So I'm just gonna let it cool down for a bit. I don't like to drink my coffee too hot. But yeah, it's been a while since I've live streamed, so I'm gonna try to get into the groove of it again. And I'm trying out this new time slot right now, which is 1 p.m. at EDT, which is pretty decent for me actually, because normally I would drink a coffee in the morning, but now I feel like I don't need the coffee in the morning anymore. I'm gonna try to like push it a bit later, but it really depends on what you peeps like as in a live stream time, and I'll make that happen. But it's really just a exploration to see what time works for most people, and I'll just continue streaming at that time with these brews. But for now, let's try this 1 p.m. time and see if it works. It's always kind of rocky in the beginning, so we'll see. Okay. So this over here is the 1 to 14 brewing ratio cup. I'm gonna stir it and give it a swig. So it's very bright and tart. It's a bit too intense. So that is the under-extractedness for sure. I kind of want to like round it out and like cut down on that intensity of sourness. But it's already here, it's a very clean cup. So let's try adding the 1 to 15 sliver. This guy over here. I'm not sure if I'm liking the tastes that I'm getting through here, but it's getting more balanced right now. I have a feeling that I might have to grind, like change my grind size a bit to accommodate these beans. Like it feels like I'm not extracting enough from the bean. So I might have to try to grind it a bit finer to get more flavors out of here. Initially, I did it a bit coarser than a Hario V60 because of the different brewing device. And I've always done that with the Hario V60 versus Kalita Wave, so grind a bit coarser. But maybe I ground it a bit too coarse this time around. Yeah, it has like this slight sour tartness that is there. That is kind of pleasant, but I wouldn't enjoy a whole cup of it. So I'm gonna add the 1 to 16 sliver right over here. So this is a 1 to 16 ratio cup of coffee. So this is much better already because it has like this silky coating. I'm still not a fan of the tastes that I'm getting from the coffee, but the coffee itself and the overall mouthfeel and the qualities that I'm getting from the coffee is getting better. So the silkiness is there. My teeth are feeling that nice silky smoothness. it's not as intense with its acidity, which is a good thing because it was kind of overwhelming in the beginning. Let's add one more. This is the 1 to 17 sliver. I'm kind of feeling like this weird taste too in my mouth. I'm not sure if I can pinpoint it, but it feels kind of like metallic-y for some reason. So I feel a bit more of the over-extractedness at this point, but to be honest, it's kind of nice that it cuts down that acidity that was there, because that was kind of intense and not my favorite acidity to begin with. But hopefully this 1 to 18 sliver does something different, but I actually doubt it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I have a feeling so far that I kind of need to change my grind size somewhere, because it's just a bit too, like, it's not getting enough taste out of the beans right now. So I'll probably have to like grind it a bit finer and re-explore. This is the 1 to 18 sliver. So yet again, this is not a perfect science to find a brewing ratio, but it's more about finding the range that you should be working within and maybe tweak your recipe accordingly. So I feel like the over-extractedness didn't actually get that much more over-extracted with the 1 to 18 sliver, and it tastes way better with the 1 to 18 ratio here, which is a good thing. It's awesome. It means that I need to extract more from the bean to really get something good out of this coffee over here. So far, I feel like 1 to 14, 15, 16, and 17, we're playing in the under-extracted range, and we're getting just like hints of qualities that this coffee could be. But when I got into the 1 to 18 sliver right now, which I'm drinking, it has way more interesting flavors going on, and it's not just a harsh, intense sourness. And even though the tasting notes say floral, sweet citrus, and stone fruit, and all of these are, or the sweet citrus and stone fruit are kind of like quite acidic and tart sometimes, I don't think that is what they're going for. I think they're aiming for more of that sweet citrus and more of that sweetness in these beans over here. So already I can tell that I have not extracted enough from these coffee beans, and I'll have to try to tweak the recipe a bit to compensate for that. Yeah, I feel like it's only now shining a bit, which is totally fine. And yet again, I need to change my recipe. So, what I've learned, I printed out this bring sheet that I made not too long ago. What am I gonna write? Well, I'm gonna write that the best cup that I had was the 1 to 18 ratio cup. So I'm gonna write down the stats of those of that specific brew. So it was a 1 to 18 brewing ratio. I used 15 grams of coffee, which ended up with 270 grams of water. The water temperature was boiling, so 100. And grind size was 33. So for extraction, I actually think it was still a bit on the under-extracted side. Was getting close to balanced, but still under-extracted. So I'm gonna circle that. And taste was okay. It could be much, much better in my opinion. So So I'm gonna put it in the middle of the pack. So it looks like this. 1:18 brewing ratio, 15 grams of coffee, 270 grams of water, boiling water. Grind size is 33, which is around 800 to 1000 microns. It was slightly under extracted, and over here the taste was so-so. Cool. So for tomorrow's brew, let's see, today is September 14th. So for tomorrow's brew, 15th, I'm gonna do still the 1:18 brewing ratio, but what I want to do is I want to change the grind size. So I'm gonna keep everything else the same, but change the grind size and make it a bit finer. So I'll make it, let's see, let's do 30 instead of 33. That's a big change. Let's do 32. 32 grind size, water temperature the same, and that becomes 15 and 270, like so. 31. Okay, so this is my recipe for tomorrow. I'm keeping everything the same but the grind size. So I'm changing it from 33 to 31, and we'll see how that tastes. Overall, I feel like there's a lot of potential with these beans, but from this first brew, I feel like there's still a lot of things I need to explore and try out. And we'll figure out a good coffee from these beans, hopefully. Hopefully the exploration will help and we can nail a really good cup of coffee. I kind of just opened up these beans, so there's a lot of exploration to be had. Cool. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.